What's going on, everybody? David Mitchell here, voice of Autism, episode 75. Crazy, ain't it? We have the 75th episode. There we go. A little thin wooden. But yeah. But it's crazy in a way. 75 episodes. Well, it's been a good week, if you guys. And yet, me and my fiance Valerie, we're doing great. She's actually a little sick right now, and I'm hoping she feels better. But it's crazy. 75 episodes. Not a lot right there. It's crazy too, if you think about it. Now, you guys are probably wondering what I've been talking about with a train show. Well, tomorrow I'll be going to the train show in North Charleston. It'll be the first time I ever been to a train show. So it's big for me. But yeah, I'm going to record the video while I'm there. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yes, my fiance YouTube channel link down below if you guys want to go to her YouTube channel. It's crazy, but yeah. Oh, and doing a lot of videos. More videos than I ever thought I would be doing. So that's crazy. And I met at a train. We about to have a train go by. Not there. Where'd that? Never wait, Amtrak. So yeah, kinda crazy. But now my fiance YouTube channel link down below if you guys want to go to her YouTube channel, subscribe to her too. But it's been a crazy 2 to 3 weeks again. Like, what are we? But it's crazy on all stuff that we are talking about. But yeah. Now let me see and get to what we're my Facebook acting kind of buggy. Been doing that for a couple days now. But yeah. There we go. Oh. I'm an idiot for that. See. There we go. I'll be honest, I have brains up mixed up in here too. or exactly it might be glitchy. Because for a past couple weeks, we we Facebook on here been acting up. But yeah, it's ironic. Let's see what we have. But yeah, it's a crazy thing. But some stuff is kind of acting up. Here, here, one is an article. There we go. But yeah, I need a better system. But it's crazy if you just think about it. Now, what begin with the first one?
Women with Autism finally represented in movie starring Dakota Fanning. By A. Stout. Report advertisement. In 2017, we got a great deal of media coverage of autism. The Power Rangers movie featured a character on the spectrum, and TV shows like Netflix's Atypical and ABC's The Good Doctor also premiered in the fall. But one arguable problem with these shows and movie was that all the autistic characters were male. And though men and boys tend to be diagnosed with autism more frequently than women and girls, females still make up a significant portion of the autistic population and deserve to be represented. A movie titled Temple Grandin was released in 2010 that delved into the life and work of real-life scientist and Professor Temple Grandin. Grandin is a well-known and admired figure in the autism community. But besides that movie release years ago, women with autism still lack representation in Hollywood. This problem is being remedied with a new movie about an autistic woman. Please stand by. Photo, YouTube, Magnolia Pictures and Magnet Releasing. Starring Dakota Fanning, Please Stand By tells the story of Wendy, a woman who escapes her group home in order to enter a Star Trek writing contest in Los Angeles. With her cute little dog by her side, Wendy must overcome a number of obstacles on her journey. The movie, presented by Magnolia Pictures, premiered in theaters on January 26th and is also available on iTunes, on demand, and on Amazon Video. Report advertisement. In addition to raising awareness of autism among females, this movie could also shine a light on wandering, a common issue among people with autism, as the premise of Please Stand By involves Wendy escaping from her group home. Photo, YouTube, Magnolia Pictures and Magnet Releasing. Reactions to the trailer have been mixed. Some are thrilled for the female representation of autism in the media, whereas others are understandably disappointed that the lead actress is not autistic herself. However, writer Michael Golemko has assured potential viewers that they hired as many autistic actors as possible to appear in the movie. Overall, it will be exciting to see how this movie does in terms of portraying the experience of autism, especially among the less represented but equally important women who have the disorder.
Okay, here Jane, my fiance, see it on the autism spectrum. Jane, I don't support having people on autism spectrum, like me and my fiance, in one of them group homes. If we're high enough function, then don't try to force it into the change. There are people on autism spectrum have to deal with that. Literally. What I find messed up. And here, Gene, not all autistic people wonder. Everybody is different on the spectrum. Nobody is the same. Literally, and I actually mean literally, everybody is different from one to another on the autism spectrum, in a way. And that crazy and that a big thing to have for a female autistic person, but I find it messed up how they make it from a group home. Not all autistic wonder. There are autistic people out there who can live on their own. And messed up thing is that the thing I find messed up that they think putting in a caregiver in the home or a group home would help. It did you more harm than good. One in ever in the world would put in a group home help us. Oh, it don't. It will just keep it out from society. That what it for. But what I know what it actually is. It messed up. And it's something I don't support. And I actually really mean it. I mean, it kind of messed up, but if you just think about it, it's crazy. And most people don't realize that. But not everybody on the autism spectrum wonder. Everybody is different, and I really mean it. It might sound crazy, but everybody on this spectrum is different. One to another. It might be crazy, but you have to just think about it. In a way. By the way, if you gotta wonder where that music coming from, it's coming from outside. My stepdad decided to barbecue today. But yeah. I might have to go out there and ask him to turn it down. But I really don't want to. But yeah.
What is Southeast Asia doing about autism? Jason Thomas. The 5th of March 2019. This file photo shows 19-year-old Singaporean youth CTOH Sheng Jia gesturing while drawing dinosaurs at his home in Singapore on the 5th of August 2016. The autistic youth who designed a dinosaur print pouch which the wife of Singapore's Prime Minister took to the White House has little idea how much of a celebrity he has become since pictures of it went viral. Roslan Rahman, AFP photo. Malaysia's Sunway Putra Mall became the first autism-friendly mall in the country after unveiling a slew of features catering to autistic individuals last month, providing those with autism with more opportunities to engage with and participate in their communities. Making Tuesdays their autism-friendly shopping day, families with autistic individuals can now enjoy dimmed or lowered lights and music at the common area and participating outlets, reserved parking, shopping assistance, discounted rates and priority queues at payment counters. This is in addition to a calm room which provides a calming environment with dimmed lights and tools such as sensory toys, weighted blankets, essential oils, bean bags and a sensory wall, all of which has helped improve the inadequate access to services and support that people with autism currently face. What is autism? According to the National Autism Society of Malaysia, autism is a complex developmental disability that typically appears during the first 3 years of life due to a
Not surgery. We are born with it. We don't get diagnosed with autism until they start looking at it. I was diagnosed at 17 months old. My fiance Val, she was diagnosed when she was 5 years old. And everybody is different.
Neurological disorder that affects the functioning of the brain in the areas of social interaction and communication skills. The World Health Organization, WHO, estimates that 1 in 160 children have autism, which begins in childhood and tends to persist into adolescence and adulthood.
It don't persist. We have it. It's not a disease. That one thing I get. Persist mean it's like a disease. It's not. And that part that get me aggravated. And it don't affect kids.
Adulthood. Children and adults with autism have difficulties in verbal and nonverbal communication, social interactions, and leisure or play activities, which makes it harder to relate to the outside world. Although a cure is yet to be found, ASEAN member states to be found behavioral treatment.
That thing that get me aggravated. Look, autism is not a disease. There's no cure for it. It's neurological. It's in the brain.
World. Although a cure is yet to be found, behavioral treatment and parent skills training programs can reduce difficulties in communication and social behavior. According to the United States, U.S. National Institutes of Health, autism has a tendency to run in families, but the inheritance pattern is usually unknown. Although it is uncertain what causes autism, possible causes include advanced parental age at time of conception, prenatal exposure to air pollution, maternal obesity or diabetes, lack of prenatal nutrition, and other causes. Autism in ASEAN. Due to difficulties in collecting information and a lack of awareness among many rural communities, it is hard to ascertain the exact number of individuals with autism in ASEAN member states. In Malaysia, there are thought to be more than 300,000 autistic individuals, and the number is reported to be 50,000 in Singapore. An estimated 638,000 individuals have autism in Indonesia, while in the Philippines, estimated cases of autism rose from 500,000 in 2008 to 1 million in 2014.
My fiance is Filipino.
2014. While numbers are on the rise across ASEAN,
and her twin brother, they're both on autism spectrum, too.
ASEAN, this is likely due to more awareness and testing rather than a greater prevalence of autism. Admittedly, the number of individuals living with autism.
And here's the thing, look, autism is not a disease. People like us are getting sick and tired of it being called a disease. It's not. It is not a disease.
Autism could be much higher in ASEAN, especially in rural areas where it may not be reported or misinformation about the condition still exists.
Talking about Asia.
On a regional level, awareness about autism has risen over the years, especially with mass media playing a key role in disseminating information and breaking long-held stereotypes. Various initiatives have been implemented and many organizations have been formed across Southeast Asia to give the condition attention and increase support for autism programs. Source: Asia Pacific Development Center on Disability. Organizations and initiatives. Created in 2010, the ASEAN Autism Network comprises of autism family support organizations from ASEAN member states and is a platform to cooperate and unite in developing non-discriminatory programs to support persons living with autism and their families. It also organizes the ASEAN Autism Games, which was held for the fourth time last year and brought together 220 autistic children from across the region to
They're not even to mention adults. That point right there, they don't like adults on autism spectrum getting involved. That part get me aggravated.
compete in swimming and athletics over 2 days in Jakarta. In 2017, the 10 ASEAN countries signed the Thimphu Declaration, which focuses on integrating the needs of individuals with autism and their families into national health and socio-economic development plans. Last November, ASEAN bestowed the inaugural ASEAN Prize to Ms. Erlinda U.Y. Koa, the Chair Emeritus of Autism Society Philippines, asked during the opening ceremony of the 33rd ASEAN Summit in Singapore. Under her leadership, the ASP with 96 chapters nationwide.
I guarantee she don't have autism. One of her kids might, but she don't. And one, I would have an organization that is run by autistic to help her instead of one that is run by people who are not autistic.
Has become one of the most vibrant disability organizations in the Philippines. The ASEAN Prize, administered by the ASEAN Secretariat, aims to recognize inspiring achievements and contributions of an individual or organization that fosters the ASEAN identity, promotes the ASEAN spirit, and champions the ASEAN way. ASEAN is also in the midst of the ASEAN Autism Mapping Project, which aims to map people with autism in ASEAN and developed countries.
It Asia, it a typo error. So
Country profiles, which will include an accurate data source on the prevalence of autism. It will also provide a mapping of organizations of and for persons with autism to facilitate exchanges and cooperation between these organizations, and a directory of support services and interventions, which may include the newest trends and innovations available to persons with autism in Southeast Asia. Ultimately, all of ASEAN's autism stakeholders have a vital role to play in developing laws and policies to promote and protect the rights and empowerment of persons with autism.
look, I am right there. Oh, my fiance even agreed with it because she is Filipino. But they make people like us look bad. It get aggravating. Like, what are we? If we don't stand up and tell them that enough, it will keep on going. The Jews had to deal with it when back in 1940, but we're not right. And we did not deal with it either. What are we? What are we? Now what?
An autistic adult on life is the perpetual villain. Ashley O. McKay. February 3, 2018. If the bullies are to be believed, I am a bad person. In fact, according to them, I'm the bully. When my telecommunications provider's gross incompetence and poorly designed back-end systems resulted in me having to spend almost 3 hours in store one afternoon running around in circles and walking out worse off than I went in, I was met with shaking heads and patronizing comments from staff and other customers for daring to call out the ridiculousness of the situation. Notice how I said situation. I repeatedly assured the staff in store that I understood they weren't responsible. When the checkout operator at my local supermarket asked me a question that I did not understand the meaning of, I was verbally abused and called racist by the other shoppers waiting in line behind me simply for telling her that I didn't understand what she was saying. It had nothing to do with her or her voice. I literally did not comprehend the meaning of the words that were coming out of her mouth. I had to start wearing a medical alert bracelet after that incident for my own safety and to support me should I ever struggle to explain myself or be wrongfully accused of something so heinous ever again. When I was anxiously waiting at the airport with less than 10 minutes to go before being pre-boarded onto my flight, I misunderstood a sign at the gate cafe offering a free bottle of water to passengers seated in the cabin class listed on my ticket. I was yelled at and accused of being rude by both staff and customers. They didn't understand that I didn't have 20 minutes to go and ask a stranger for something I didn't fully understand, let alone the executive functioning needed to pull it off. They yelled at me saying they couldn't serve me, and I told them I wanted to pay for my bottled water because I was short on time, which landed me in more trouble and having to whip out the medical alert bracelet to explain not only that I was about to be pre-boarded but also what that was happening. I'm a late diagnosed autistic adult living in a socially driven world that wasn't designed for me. My daily experience is one of extreme intensity and I don't instinctively know how to interact with other people. Unless I've known them for a long time, I don't understand people, what they want, what they need, or what they mean when they say what they say. My disability is invisible. Unless I tell you, you might not pick up on it. Confused, aloof, and constantly amused, no matter how inappropriate, are my default settings, and my facial expressions and tone of voice rarely match how I really feel inside. You cannot tell what is going through my mind just by looking at me. The thought patterns and processes running behind my eyes are very complex and performed under the duress of an intensely heightened sensory experience. Loud and unexpected sounds, bright light, persistently annoying sounds that cannot be placed in crowded public spaces have an enormous negative impact on my ability to function, let alone participate in a conversation in the way others need me to. I'm the villain of just about every story. presumed to be rude, hostile, and offensive without consideration or a chance to explain or demonstrate otherwise, have been verbally abused by complete strangers in public for reasons I've never fully understood until someone explained it to me later. People often misinterpret my behavior as threatening or malicious in intent and they act accordingly. I'm dangerous and antisocial and they often feel the need to jump in and save the day. My anxiety is often mistaken for rudeness, my frustrations have been misinterpreted as a sign of hostility or combativeness, and interactions can escalate long before I really know what's going on. Miscommunications and misunderstandings are a daily occurrence for me. I'm nearly always hit with the full force of the blame, and if I dare to point out the role of any third-party people or factors for contextual purposes, I'm condemned even more. I was once threatened with physical violence by two other customers one night at a self-serve checkout at a large department store. It was over a conversation I was having with a staff member about the frustration I felt regarding the overly complicated self-checkout process. The Xer in me knew the problem easily be fixed, and never in a million years did I think that it would result in a stranger feeling the need to intervene in that conversation and verbally attack me. I was wrongfully accused of bullying and forced to deal with two complete strangers shouting obelized insults at me like, "It's not her fault, you're too dumb to work the machine." I ignored these people and didn't engage. I did everything you're supposed to do to defuse the situation, and in that moment, I felt sick, terrified, and completely confused. I stayed quiet and dragged my heels through the convoluted process so the yelling strangers would finish up before me and leave, but they were waiting for me outside when I left the store. They were yelling, swearing, and threatening to hurt me. They didn't follow me, but I was shaken and scared. I wasn't alone when this happened. I was with someone who always tells me the truth, and they assured me that they felt I hadn't done what those strangers said I did. More than 6 months on, I still can't use the self-serve checkouts at that store.
You're Zane. I would tell them if they keep it up, I will get them for harassment, and I would have got them arrested right there. It's up that people whack on autism spectrum deal with on a daily basis. We need to start telling them enough is enough. We're not going to put up with you treating us like crap.
Store. Like many classical villains, I've received more than my fair share of hate mail, and one time it came through the local postal service instead of my email inbox. The letter referred to an incident that had occurred the week before when my husband and I had backed out of our driveway only to find a car blocking us in. Someone, a visitor of one of our neighbors, had parked across the two driveways. We were on our way out to dinner and we were late and we couldn't get out. I sat for a minute not really knowing what to do about this situation. I thought about canceling dinner and just going back inside. I thought about writing a note but decided that wouldn't accomplish anything and make me just as bad as the inconsiderate owner of that car. I thought I could knock on their door, but the sound of a knock at my door really hurts me due to my sensory differences, and I didn't know if it might also hurt someone in that house. I told my husband we should just wait a few minutes and see if someone comes along to claim it. Sure enough, someone did. My husband got out of the car and I heard him ask her, "Why did you park like that?" She responded with, "Oh, I'm just visiting a friend." He repeated his question, and feeling like he probably wasn't going to get anywhere with the discussion, I climbed out and told him to get back in the car. She told me, "Sorry, I'm just visiting a friend," and I said, "Fine. But you need to learn how to park." That was all I said to her. She got in her car and left, and we went our way too. It was late autumn 2017, and I remember we were having trouble with our car making embarrassing revving sounds as the heater kicked in, and my husband accidentally bumped the horn while reaching for the dial to turn it down. We were stressed, frustrated, and with an accidental horn honk in the mix. Yeah, it looked bad. But I never thought I'd receive a page-long tirade of insults in the post over it. We were called stupid, vile, disgusting, and not normal because we didn't knock on the door of the house and ask how much longer she was planning to block our driveway for. She said that she hoped our lack of social graces meant we were having a hard time and that something bad had happened to us.
I would have sent that letter into law enforcement and get her for harassment. That right there, technically harassment. But it is illegal to block somebody road, block somebody driveway. You cannot get your car towed from that. So technically, Brittany would block them in, would have got their car towed if they called the police. So technically, we it's up that people on autism spectrum why I gotta deal with on a daily basis. I even got hate emails before, even in comments, even on a live stream one time. But here's the thing, I don't want to get to me.
Us. She told us that she
I didn't make them look bad and make them look like the real villain. You you turn it around and show the true color of the villain who trying to make you look bad. But people like us, we deal with it on a daily basis.
feared for the well-being of any children we may have, and that if we didn't have any children, we should keep it that way to avoid creating more weird people like us. She said we were pathetic for revving our car and honking the horn. Apparently our heater issue made her chuckle. And then at the end I was fat shamed. Not once but 3 times. I guess the point that she prevented us from using our own driveway was completely lost on her, and somehow the entire incident was our fault. Sure, we could have handled it better in the moment, but did we really deserve hate mail telling us we shouldn't have children for it?
No.
I'm accustomed to being written off and not taken seriously. My skills and experience are too often viewed as a threat that is confirmed the second I reveal myself to be intelligent or come up with an idea that is viewed more favorably than someone else's. I've experienced sabotage in academic and professional contexts and have been accused of taking resources that belonged to others who were more worthy. I remember being blamed for other people's poor planning while I was still at university. The lecturer wanted to talk to everyone individually about our projects, and halfway through the class a group of students announced they needed to leave in 10 minutes for a university-approved volunteer gig. And at that moment in time, it just happened to be my turn to get feedback on my project. I looked at the lecturer because I didn't know what to do. These particular classmates made my time at university a living hell. They bullied me and tore me to pieces every chance they got. I was afraid of them. I hated them too, and I feared the consequences of provoking them. The lecturer ignored them, pulled up a chair next to me, and asked to see my sketches. My bullies got pretty angry, but not at the lecturer for ignoring them. No, they were angry at me for taking their feedback time away from them. Never mind the fact that they could have approached the lecturer earlier in the class or made an appointment to see him. He was nice and had 2 afternoons a week set aside for walk-ins. They acted as though they believed they had more of a right to time with the lecturer than I did. I wasn't an equal to them. When I was one of 4 nominees put forward by my university for a nationwide award at the end of my final year, those same bullies were outraged. They claimed I didn't deserve it and said I only received the nomination because our then course convener believes in gender equality. They also seemed to think that I should have turned it down and taken steps to have someone else put forward in my place. They weren't seen by other students as sexists or losers, but rather a group of wronged individuals who deserved action. Service providers and strangers in public don't take my needs seriously. I'm grilled about neurodiversity on a regular basis by people who frankly have absolutely no business knowing about it, and when I stand up to them and assertively refuse or attempt to steer the conversation back to its core purpose, I'm labeled as difficult, rude, a liar, or sternly told in a raised voice to calm down. I've been mocked for not instinctively knowing the difference between left and right. Yep, that would be a L to the forehead, and even I know that doesn't mean left. And shunned from public group activity environments for providing honest and respectful feedback. FYI, I know it was respectful because I wrote it down and had a trusted person proofread it to ensure I hadn't been too direct. The few complaints I've lodged regarding my experiences being bullied have all been dismissively pushed aside and have led to victimization. I was bullied through all levels of schooling, and while my 2 most recent workplaces have been amazing and have resulted in me being wonderfully workplace bully-free for over 2 years now, it hasn't always been like that. I was 19 when I learned to keep my mouth shut about workplace bullying. I spoke out against a group of colleagues who were taking extended lunch breaks because it was a rostered work environment, and not only was it unfair, but it was also putting pressure on the team during a peak time for the store. They said I lied to get attention. I was the bad guy working for a real villain who then had free rein to do whatever they wanted since the manager warned them about me. My advocacy work has also attracted an extensive amount of abuse. I'm the evil PC-wielding fun police with the audacity to ask for a rational 2-way conversation in which people actually listen to each other and work towards a common goal of achieving equality for all. I've been told I'm not disabled enough and that I'm jumping on a bandwagon in an attempt to appear interesting. I've also been told by the parents of autistic children that I must have grown out of it and that I couldn't possibly understand their misery. They say I lack empathy and also that their children are more evolved than me because they want to change and become normal. I'm often treated as though only
That right there is insult to our community. Those parents who say that, they don't deserve to have kids. Literally. If you're a parent who say somebody who on the autism spectrum don't look autistic or don't deserve like this, you don't deserve to have your kid at all. You deserve to be in a prison. Yeah, that's how I feel about parents who do that to people. And that's how I feel about parents who say you grow out of autism. Autism is not a disease. You don't ever grow out of it. These parents are technically vile, toxic, and they're not right in the head. And it's not a right. This job needs to stop and end. Exactly what Jews had to deal with back in 1940 during World War II. And probably 1932. And we people on autism spectrum are dealing with the exact same problem.
villains are okay with being different because apparently constantly questioning the concept of normal and seeking to educate people on the reality of autistic life is bad. I'm not allowed to have an opinion that differs from others, and I repeatedly find myself being called bossy and a bitch online and in person, and no one seems to have any qualms about that. It's okay to insult me and treat me like a piece of garbage because I'm a bad person. Look, I could share stories like these until the end of time. I don't even know how many of these experiences I've had, and they've led to some pretty dark times for me. In these moments of despair, I used to twist myself into knots trying to understand why it kept happening. I reasoned that since I was the common denominator, it must be my fault. When a man was convicted in a court of law of stalking me, people asked me what I did to provoke him. They made me feel like it was my fault and that I was a terrible person for finally calling the police to put an end to it. No one asked me if I was okay or how long it was before I no longer woke in a cold sweat thinking I heard footsteps on the grass outside my home in the middle of the night. No one cared that I had what I now know to be an epic autistic meltdown on the stand while being cross-examined. No, I was just the girl who cried in court. For a really long time, I genuinely believed I was some kind of monster. An evil creature who didn't belong and couldn't socially function well enough to exist among society. I attempted suicide 3 times between the ages of 15 and 20. I believed what they said. And then I got diagnosed. I learned about my brain and what it means to be autistic. I discovered that I am not a monster but rather a person worthy of the same love and respect as everyone else. Over time, I've also learned that there are a lot of public misconceptions around what autism actually looks like and how it manifests differently from individual to individual. Some people don't even know what it is. When I first got diagnosed at the age of 29, my mom told me she thought it meant I lacked self-control and manners. People don't always know how to spot it. They can't always tell the difference between an angry person and an autistic meltdown. You can't see the internal mechanisms of someone who is being completely overwhelmed by their environment and drowning in confusion, misfired thought processes and stimuli. Does that any of that justify their abusive behavior? Absolutely not. I'm a human being. I just have a different brain. I'm not better than you, I'm not less than you, I'm just different.
Right.
Autistic people are not the enemy. I am not the villain some people seem to think I am.
Right, we're not.
Communication is a two-way street. I accept responsibility for my half and work damn hard to fill in the gaps in other ways. I'm really good with patterns and logic puzzles, and given enough time and patience, I can use those skills to meet people halfway. I can communicate. It's just a little bit different and it might not give you the warm fuzzies you need, but please know that I do care. My lack of eye contact is not a microaggression. I'm not deliberately trying to hijack the conversation, and my directness and lack of small talk is not a sign of brusqueness. Before I leave you, I have a small request. The next time you're out and about and you see someone who looks like they might be having a hard time, instead of vilifying them, ask them if they are okay. Ask them if you can help them or offer to solve the problem with them, i.e. do it together. Don't call them names, don't yell at them, don't patronize them, and do not tell them to calm down because that makes things so much more heightened and stressful. You can diffuse the situation and support everyone just by offering to help in a constructive way. The people that intervene and shout at me potentially believe they're being helpful. They might even think they're the hero of the story, but blowing the whole thing up and taking sides when you don't fully understand what's going on isn't helpful. Give people the benefit of the doubt. You literally don't know exactly what is going through their mind at that particular moment. By being just a little bit open to the possibility that there's more to the story, you might actually help support an autistic person who could really use just a little kindness and understanding.
That's true. We people on the autism spectrum deal with that on a daily basis. Literally. I sometimes even deal with it with my mom. Probably get her to read that when she have her own time where she can read it. But it's something that people like on the spectrum deal with on a daily basis. Literally. Crazy. And I don't think it right that we have to go through this.
People with autism don't have sex. People with autism just aren't interested in sex. People with autism can't maintain relationships, especially complex ones.
That's a lie because me and my fiance are in an open relationship. Me and my fiance Val, we're both on the autism spectrum. We're in an open relationship, meaning we can mingle with our people. If you guys don't know what an open relationship is, meaning yes, you can mingle with our people. I'm bisexual, meaning I am interested in both guys and girls. So, yeah, people on the autism spectrum can be bisexual, gay, lesbian, anything.
Once. These are just a few of the blatant myths that surround autistics, sex, and relationships. Joining Leo Jones as Ruby and Blood Fox, two autistic individuals in an ethical, consensual, non-monogamous relationship to discuss different types of romantic relationships, BDSM, and more.
Okay. Now, it's not a video, but it is a recording. It's probably going to be about 50 minutes or so for part. They're part 1 and part 2.
Fox, members of both the autistic and...
But, yeah.
Hello, and welcome once again to Neurologic. I'm your host, Leo Jones. Today, we're talking about sex, relationships, and autism. I'm joined by Ruby and her partner Blood Fox, members of both the autistic and kink communities. So, welcome to the show.
Hi. Happy to be here.
So, with that, I kind of want to start off with your initial diagnosis and focus on autism first. We'll start with you, Ruby. When did you get diagnosed?
Technically speaking, I still have not been diagnosed because in 2011, when my symptoms first became bad enough through the other things that I had that we were noticing them, the testing that they wanted me to do was really, really stressing me out. There was like this 200-page questionnaire, and I was already in a bad place, and I shoved it across the desk at the doctor and said, I'm not doing it, scattering all 200 pages across the back of the office. It was not a dignified moment, and he looked at me and he said, you know, if you can't do the questionnaire, I'm not sure I can give you a proper diagnosis, but I think it's highly likely that you're on the autism spectrum, and I want you to look at coping mechanisms for that.
Seems very antithetical to getting a diagnosis. I remember when I got mine, they didn't have me fill out that questionnaire. I don't know why they're having you fill out one. So basically your diagnosis, as you said, is provisional.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would probably qualify. I don't think you need to fill out a questionnaire. Not everybody on the spectrum can fill out a questionnaire. So
Yeah. Which I think is probably why he went ahead and told me, you're probably here. Please continue looking for coping tools from this point.
They didn't offer any kind of other testing?
At the time that I got that provisional diagnosis, I was actually in a psychiatric facility in treatment for other things that had come to a boiling point in a crisis, and really they were trying to make sure that I didn't die before sending me out into the world.
So it was kind of a low priority too.
Yeah, it was a very low priority at the time.
I know that the local regional center, when I got mine, I was given it by the doctor that they put me through more testing, but it was not quite.
You heard something crazy. When I was younger, when I got first diagnosed with autism, they said I would never be able to do anything. They said I would not be capable of doing stuff. They really said all to me. And I proved them wrong. I really did. And I want to send a message saying, when you think that way, it could harm. It's very harmful.
Questionnaire, they actually had someone give me a test, like they would do basic IQ testing and other testing along with that. That was not as invasive. Although the funny part was having
The only part one of it's part two not out yet.
Because everything went dark, and I was like, well, this is remote. But
This isn't open.
but anyway, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to pretty much say that means you've got the official diagnosis. The doctor is saying that. I don't know why the questionnaire was needed. And
Yeah, I really don't know either. I think they thought I had a different thing as well, and they were trying to do both at once. I don't have a whole lot of good, solid memory from that time period because I was on all of the antidepressants.
gotcha.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least you can remember some of that and talk about it. I'm glad you're here to talk about it.
It's crazy.
When did you get diagnosed?
I actually don't remember. I was very young.
Let me check. I'm just pausing it for a few seconds to check to make sure.
And
There we go.
my parents and doctors felt that it was not necessary for me to have a label, so they put me through a lot of occupational therapy and like to help me learn the tools I needed to deal with the issues, but without giving me a label. I didn't learn the actual label that I was diagnosed as having Asperger's until I think my senior year in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you find out?
I was transferring from my pediatric psychiatrist out, and on my last appointment with him, it's like, well, you're doing really good managing your Asperger's syndrome. Wait, what?
oh hey, by the way,
Surprise!
Yeah.
that's a fun little goodie bag to get us going away present.
So I'm like, yeah, I was kind of pissed about that. Like,
I would have been too. I would have been
Parents,
aggravated,
they obviously didn't tell you.
furious.
looking back, I actually appreciate it more because of my mentality at the time. If I had had a label and I knew the label and I could look it up, I would have focused solely on the label rather than
You would have gone down the rabbit hole of research.
research, and I wouldn't have been able to acquire the coping tools that I was provided.
You don't think it would have clarified some things growing up, or
It would have been nice, but it may have actually, knowing how I operate, may have actually been more harmful than the benefit that I could have gotten out of it.
that's understandable.
He still doesn't like labels.
I can fully understand
We are
that. For me, it
minorities,
was-
not a
I had
build.
a very different
Objectively,
experience
we
with my
are
own
with a mental
diagnosis.
disability, but
My
not a
parents,
physical
when we-
or a disease.
After going through 3 psychologists, the first one saying that my parents were the problem, not me, which at the age of 13 is a wonderful thing to hear. Yeah,
Oh,
doing great.
glorious.
Yeah.
Glorious.
So, and the second one was a great example of non-scientific diagnosis. Said I just needed to go to boot camp because he sent his son there, and that turned out well. Which is great because I'm like, wait, so just because it worked for your child doesn't mean it works for every child.
That's true.
And
It
that means
don't
that
work.
you're throwing away all of your degree and study because doing that is entirely anecdotal. And my dad sitting there says, no, he doesn't need boot camp. He's not out committing crimes. He's not breaking anything. He's not a major problem. There's just some things that we kind of want to know what can be done and to help him. And my dad was completely like, no, he doesn't need boot camp. it shocked him so much. And then finally, the third one, I had an extremely positive experience that they told me I could grow up, get a job, get a house, get married, have kids if I wanted to, all that kind of stuff. And even afterwards, my parents took me out for ice cream because it was sort of a, finally we know what the name is, we can research this, I can find out more about myself. So, but a lot of people don't get that. In fact, my dad, when he got diagnosed like 10 years ago, they said, well, we can give you a diagnosis, but what good is it going to do you? Which was it just floored me when they said it to me because it's so debilitating. You're like, well, yeah, we can give this to you, but not going to do any good. You're just like,
but knowing the name gives you power over the thing.
Well, yeah, it gives you.
It's like Earthsea.
Well, it's just like I can finally realize what it is and what I am and more about who you are. It's nice to have, and it would give clarity, but the way they phrased it was just terrible. And it also happened to one of my other friends, and also he was on my second episode. Ryan got a diagnosis like that as well. Well, you're already married and have a kid, you have a job, so what's the point of getting a diagnosis? Do you? And he's married. Yeah, exactly.
Answer closures with some people who don't find out that they have autism until later in life finally get that closure that they've been looking for. And that helps because sometimes, even if we're married, we're down there, we still struggle if we don't know what we have. But yeah.
That's just kind of why I can kind of see where labels can be good and bad. So, but if it works for you not to have or not go by that label, that makes sense to me.
Now I do, but when I was younger, if I had a label, labels for me can lock something down.
Because there's so much out there to research, but there's too much to take in, and
yeah, and the label becomes the truth.
And he rabbit holes hard when he gets on a topic that he's interested in. And
same with me. When it comes to a topic that I get on, I get hard on it. And crazy, I did not find out or realize that I was on the spectrum until I was nearly 14. I was 14 years old. Exactly 14 or 13, if I can remember. I was diagnosed at 17 months old, but my parents and them did not bother to tell me until I was old enough. It even on my medical record.
And wants to know more about, and I'll lose him for hours. I eventually can drag him away when he gets hungry enough, and it's like, eat!
We can't play some board games.
Yeah, he can't play anything that works like Letters from Whitechapel or Dracula, the games where you're running around on the board trying to find the other player, because he gets rabbit holed into the analysis
paralysis.
Nice.
My mind propagates all of the potentials.
And then he just sits there like frozen. The first time I saw it, I thought he was having a panic attack, and I kind of freaked out.
If I could get little LCD screens to pop up my glasses, I'd have a little button that would have like a little spinning like computer's busy icon. Like just have it display on my glasses. Busy.
It would be an accurate description. He looks like the loading screen.
Gotcha. There's a lot of papers out there, and unfortunately, a lot of the research, I think it was Nick Walker, who had something, he had a quote about this that was basically that autistic research is a field of research for scientists and other professionals who are not good at their jobs or research to fall into and fail upward. Because so much of it is absolutely terrible, anecdotal or correlation. But
I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, I'm back. Sorry about that. I think I tore some skin right here a little bit. But what I do now?
Poorly put together. So for that, I could see at a young age, if you had gone through, you would have been exposed to so much error-filled research, it would have thrown everything into chaos.
And I can see why the research is so bad, because we're all so different.
I mean, you know the saying, if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person.
Exactly. The spectrum. I like it when they actually put together the entire circle, because it can be anywhere on that. And it explains a lot, but I think that the research could be done better. It's just they're going to have to do a lot more work in regards to how they actually practice it. Because too often it's, well, we have these 12 people, so clearly that's a sample size. And it's like, no, you can't.
That's a bad sample size.
Oh, yeah.
Your sample sizes are small and you should feel bad about yourself.
Exactly, yeah. So, when it comes to disclosure, I imagine when you were diagnosed, when you were senior high school, and you were diagnosed how many years ago, approximately?
About
9 years ago. Following up through that, how did you choose to disclose to people, if you did at all, as into maybe close family or distant family, friends, etc., even strangers?
If you guys can't hear their voices, then I'll probably try to get something to make it a little louder in that video if you guys want to comment about it. But
how has that policy of disclosure changed? Has it stayed the same? And kind of what has it been like to disclose?
For me, it's pretty much universally, if I have a half decent reason for informing them.
Let me check something. Give you guys a few minutes. But everybody is different.
Forming a person or group of people that I am on the spectrum, I will do so. Part of my reason for this policy is that the more people that realize that they know someone who's on the spectrum, the more likely that individuals who are more heavily impacted by their diagnosis, by the severity of it, are to be more accepted. They can learn tools, and they can learn that, hey, with me, it's they like, okay, don't approach me in these certain specific ways, and try to avoid these certain voice tones, because those act as triggers for me. And just learning that it's not always a huge thing that needs to be done to deal with it.
So for your disclosure, it usually depends on certain circumstances. You don't just
work.
wear it as, if it's work, then, but outside of work, you generally don't disclose, or?
Friend groups, most of my friend groups know.
Anybody who spends a significant amount of time with you, really.
Same with my friend. I do tell some of my friend about me having autism. Same with the groups that I'm in, but I don't go blabbering all around. Unless I get my voice out there, I will. Or try to make it known that everybody is different on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
People who are just, in and out of your life don't need to, because they're not likely to set you off or see you in distress.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What about you, Ruby?
Well, in the early days, I went through a disclosure spree, as I usually do, because I get so excited I have a name for a thing that I want to shout it from the rooftops. And then I kind of went, okay, this isn't helpful. It's convincing people I'm more weird than I already was, and that was kind of impressive that there was still more weirdness to convince people of. And so I calmed down a little on it. And actually, the reaction to the disclosure spree resulted in me feeling almost ashamed of my diagnosis, because there were a lot of people who found out and went, suddenly silent on me, or who reacted strongly negatively. I had several people tell me that I was lying because they'd never seen me rock, and that I'm not nonverbal. My mom, when I first actually told her what the doctor had told me, she said, "You can't be autistic, you talk."
That's why people on autism spectrum can talk. Some that don't rock. Literally, everybody different on spectrum. One blame you can put on autism speak. They put that stereotype out there.
That's got to be very debilitating.
Yeah. And I actually kind of had to wean her away from the thought process of Autism Speaks. Because when she realized, no, she's not going to change her mind that she's a part of this, she went looking for information. And, 2012, 2013, you Googled autism, you got Autism Speaks.
Right, yeah, they're all over the place.
And it was
Disgusting.
kind of terrifying for me that mom was looking for information about people like me and getting to videos where parents were talking about wanting to.
If you gotta know, I hate autism speak for the stuff that they done. They disgust the crap out of me with stuff that they do.
Murder their children.
I remember that one very clearly. Allison
I
Senior
do.
talking about locking the kids in the car and pushing it into,
Yeah. It was terrifying, and so I started to associate a word that had been very freeing of, oh God, there's a name for it, with fear and shame. And so I didn't really start going out of my way to tell people again until right around when we got together, which would have been 2016.
That fear and
2016,
shame
same year me and Val met.
and people's view on
But we did not start dating until 2017.
Individuals on the spectrum is why I disclose at the rate I do, is to help educate people.
And make it safer.
Yeah, make it safer.
I think there's a lot of risk involved with that, and so I hate to use the term brave or courageous because that's thrown on way too much in other non-autistic communities, but it is still it's a lot because the reactions you could get, you're not always sure how they're going to react.
I have gotten bad reactions, but I know myself, and I know that my mental state can take those reactions, and I can manage that.
He's
Same
our
with me.
tank. He pulls aggro.
Yeah.
That's all. That's. I'm.
Like when I was younger, I used to have people who said I don't look autistic. I'm not autistic. With a bullcrap lie because I do have autism. I was diagnosed at 17 months old. I was still an infant or a baby when I was diagnosed. I was not even 2 years old when I was diagnosed with autism. And here, Jane, I don't even support autism speak, and they really make people in the autism community look bad. And here, Jane, what I've been talking about last week about how we're just said we started to get the picture socks, like to get sock therapy banned. Autism Speak is trying to promote it and trying to keep it up with it disgusting. I will never support them for stuff that they done. They done some horrible stuff to the autism community. They literally trying to get rid of eradicate her. They literally scrutinize her, make it look like we're evil, bad, make it look like we're a burden and all that. That thing that get me mad about that organization, and reason why I'll never support them. And they are run by normal, neurotypical people who are not autistic, who want to kill people on autism spectrum or get rid of that their thing is to their goal is to try to find a prenatal test, or technically like they call it a cure, and They're kind of messed up stuff about them, and they support eugenics. It's like the same thing that Nazis did to try to get rid of Jews. That was one thing that they tried doing. So it disgusts the hell out of me that they will do that to people like us. In 21st century, have we moved on from stuff like this? I get not. We're going to have to keep on doing what we can to get our voice out there and tell them enough is enough.
Very pleased to hear that. That's having someone solid with you matters a lot, especially in in light of current events regarding all the very horrible things people are saying at this point.
Yeah.
So,
So, if I can help educate people, and since I'm able to, it'd be wrong for me not to.
With great power comes great responsibility.
that's definitely true. But I'm also glad that Ruby, that you found the ability to disclose on your own terms and no longer see your diagnosis as something so terrible. But
The internet really helped with that. I found a wonderful, thriving autistic community online made of people like me, not people who were dealing with me.
that's very important. The internet autistic community has been extremely supportive. It's where I've met a lot of really well written and intelligent individuals who will put things together and have actually encouraged growth for myself in other issues such as like gender fluidity, which has been a journey, not for me personally, but to learn about it there's been so much that I just have had to unpack and learn, that having those individuals really helps. So
Oh yeah, it's good to not feel alone.
that's a very good way of putting it. So what do you like about being autistic?
For me, I like the perspective that it gives me on the world. It lets me see patterns in things that other people can't. I can see connections. I remember back when I was in high school, I noticed that the gas prices were changing in a specific way. They go up by 10 cents every week on a Thursday. 10 cents. It dropped down about 4 or 5 cents each week, but it would always jump 10 cents. And I mentioned this to my father. I'm like, this is following a specific pattern. And about a year and a half later, my dad told me, hey, you're right, it was being manipulated. The guy got arrested for price fixing.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Like, it was not a small deal. He was messing with futures or something. I forget specifically what it was, but it was I noticed this pattern in how the gas prices were moving, and
I'll bet he had other gas stations as well that he was doing it with.
Oh, yeah,
this was
I notice stuff like that. I can notice stuff too. I love everything about being autistic. Like, there are more pros than there is cons for people on the autism spectrum. There are more pros for us than there is. Literally, it's just that people who are neurotypical have to realize there are more pros to it than there is cons. And people who make the cons louder than they are in autism speak, they make it look bad. Literally, we are a minority that have potential that have not been used yet or unlocked. Like, if people realize how capable we are, it might help our community.
this guy was in a distribution company. Distributes to the gas station companies. But I get to see patterns in the world. One weird thing that it lets me do is actually beneficial for my work is that if I'm looking at a blank wall, I can actually kind of project in my mind patterns and connections between information pieces.
So you can, on a visual basis,
Yeah.
kind of imagine, but have it cemented where you can actually see things moving around in your head without having to actually draw it or project it through something else.
Yeah, there's a character on a show that we like, Cassandra Killian from Librarians, who does something very similar. Hers is attributed to a brain tumor, but he says it's a perfect visualization of how his process works, where it flicks up and then manipulate the images to make the pattern work.
When I worked in the corporate world, it drove my bosses nuts.
Why?
Because I didn't show any work.
So you would have results, but then they didn't see the process behind it.
He'd stare at a blank wall for an hour and then have an answer, and it looked like he was just pulling it out of his ass.
Well, you can cuss on this. I don't.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, it looked like he was pulling it out of his ass. I had similar problems in math growing up. I could always get the right answer. I could not always tell you how I got it.
Same with
I
me.
could not show my work. Part of this was that I had undiagnosed dyscalculia at the time. Since diagnosed, numbers don't stay still on pages for me, but I was compensating using the pattern recognition skill for the learning disability regarding the numbers.
How did you do that? I mean, based upon what I remember from school, when they were doing mathematical problems to solve, I mean, if numbers were moving around, how did you get around that? Because that would seem to be extremely difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I spent a lot of years thinking that I was just hopelessly bad at math. I excel in verbal fields, so English and anything where the textbook was written and I could read ahead, I did really well.
Mine is mapping, history, block. I'm not a good reader. You guys probably already know I suck at reading. But I'm good at math, art, blueprints, and building stuff. And putting stuff together too. And a ton of art stuff. Like literally. And I'm good at math.
Well, so I just sort of assumed that the loss in math was to provide skill points, I guess, for the other stuff. I was the only kid in class who liked word problems more than regular problems because written words don't cause me any problems. I did a lot of covering up all of the problem except for one number because pinning it down kind of helped. And then I would hold it in my head because I can hold the concept of a number in my head. I just can't look at the page and hold it still unless it's the only number on the page. And then I'd go step by step across the page, get the whole concept of the question in my head, and then an answer would pop out.
I am sorry about that, guys. 1 minute, let me get back to do that because that was my fault. Sorry.
I can do this!
It made it a lot easier to work with.
Yes! Proofs was the only kid in class who liked word problems more than regular problems because written words don't cause me any problems. I did a lot of covering up all of the problem except for one number because
The
pinning
video
it down
probably
kind of
won't
helped.
be 2 to 3 hours long.
And then I would
Just
hold it in my
from
head
this.
because I can hold the concept of a number in my head. I just can't look at the page and hold it still unless it's the only number on the page. And then I'd go step by step across the page, get the whole concept of the question in my head, and then an answer would pop out. This did not please my geometry professors.
I would suppose not.
His proofs were not easy for me. They took hours upon
Actually,
hours.
the odd thing is that geometry was my worst of the maths. Because of all the proofs and theorems that had specific things, it was not vulnerable to my pattern recognition.
I see.
Yeah, whereas I did fantastically in algebra because as soon as they took all the numbers away and replaced them with letters, I was like, "Woot! I can do
Oh
this!"
dear.
It made it a lot easier to work with.
Yes.
Not where my problem come in. Algebra. I was okay at it, if I can remember. Like, exactly, I did it in resource class, but algebra was a 50-50 for me. It was not that easy. Because words are not my strong point. I can talk pretty good and do a good conversation, but when it comes to writing it all down and thinking about it, that's where problem come in.
I do really well with theoretical math as well. If I can hold it in my head and not have to look at it on paper, part of this is why I love physics. The more theoretical stuff in physics, thinking about quantum physics and quarks and the subatomic stuff, it works for me. It's a concept I can hold in my head, which actually I think is probably what I like best about being autistic. And I don't know if it's necessarily from my autism or if it's from something else. I do test very high on the IQ scale, so like I don't. It might just
Same
be
with
that,
me.
but I've
And
noticed a
my
lot of
fiance,
people
Val.
I know with autism are also very.
My fiance is very high on IQ. She is very smart. She can speak almost 20 languages. Literally. She can sing pretty well, and she is very smart. So my fiance is up there too. I'm very up there, but I'm not a good reader. Trust me.
Very skilled at holding high theory math in their head, and I really enjoy being able to throw concepts like that around. I do a lot of writing in speculative fiction, and so it's very useful for me to be able to have a concept of how you would make a starship that goes and know the base physics of it, even if I couldn't build it myself. The fact that I can work on that scale and contact really smart people who work on a scale that nobody else works on and be like, hey, explain your thing to me and I'll get at least some benefit out of that explanation. I really love it. I love the fact that I can collect all this knowledge and hold it in my head and that it stays neat and orderly. Like my mental library is my favorite part.
What struggles do you have in regards to being autistic? It doesn't necessarily have to be with autism directly, but it could be with people around you that, or the society that you're in. Basically, what struggles have you found in relation to your autism?
Architecture. Buildings aren't built for me. Wide open spaces, hard surfaces that bounce sounds, bright lights. It's very overwhelming and I don't like it. I like old buildings best. They're smaller, darker, and usually use softer materials.
Plaster seems to be pretty decent at absorbing sound.
Plaster is decent. Wood is very good. Brick is better than some things. Natural stone is okay. Please save me from glass and metal.
Which they seem to be using in abundance.
I don't like modern architecture. It's bad.
I can understand that. Apple was using glass walls everywhere, and they made the unfortunate mistake of making them all clear. So when you walk in the building, if you're not paying much attention and you're on your phone, they had actually a number of insurance claims for people with...
Like birds!
Yes.
I remember reading about that.
Yeah, they literally had to frost the glass because it was such a problem. And you're thinking, how much did you pay for this? You could have just built regular walls, or better yet, have different sections where there were windowed or glass walled areas, but they wanted it to be all glass. So,
Yeah, I've been having a lot of trouble at my university. They put in a whole bunch of new facilities, and they're all high ceiling, open concept, glass everywhere, massive windows, metal finishes on everything that isn't glass, and these weird Danish modern armchairs that, like, that's not actually an autism complaint, that's just they're uncomfortable.
Not true.
But
They're
yeah, it's hard to
uncomfortable. I sat
navigate
on
my
one.
university's newer parts because they're really overwhelming.
So like an open floor plan, such as Union Station, for example, if there's nobody in there, there's not a lot of stuff. That whole big, huge, just auditorium style.
Union Station is better than most big buildings because it is mostly stone, which is a little more grounding for me than glass or metal. But yeah, it can be overwhelming when it's very open like that, especially if there's lots of people. When we do events down there, like we'll be at the Maker Faire or something, and I'll need to frequently tap out, go to like the bathroom, and be in a small enclosed space and feel safer again.
I know exactly what you mean, though. Maker Faire because it drains me just being there for a few hours and I have to go outside or someplace where the sound isn't so cacophonous.
Yeah.
What about you, Blood Fox?
For me, media. The reliance on awkwardness in pretty much all media, it's physically painful.
So watching various media or listening to various media revolving around autistic representation.
Not just autistic.
Anytime people are awkward on a screen, he cringes.
It is a physical pain.
There's some that one don't affect me. It do maybe a little bit. I don't like sitcom or literally sitcoms. That where I get it from. I don't like them. Literally, with all that laughing and stuff, and with what he talking about. Now I do like TV shows like Blue Blood. I like cop shows. Another TV show and all that, and TV shows that are based in reality. But yeah.
Pain in my back. Feels like someone draws nails down my back.
That is very specific.
And considering that most modern humor relies on awkwardness, like two people interacting and
one person is made to feel awkward.
Yeah, or the situation is awkward because like two people are trying to flirt and are being bad at it, or we very carefully screen things for awkwardness levels, and there's not a lot of visual media that you can watch.
I was gonna say it's got to be very, very difficult.
I watch a lot of documentaries,
stand-up comedy.
I have to be picky about it, but it's one of the most reliable sources of humor for me, because since it's a stand-up comic, it's not awkward situations, and usually if there is awkwardness, I can just bounce through the parts.
Because the person that's talking about the awkwardness isn't showing it on the screen, but they're describing, I felt this way. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can work through it.
That's I would have a very difficult time if I had something like that, because there's so many shows I watch which they use awkwardness in abundance, and looking back, just thinking now of how many, I'm like, wow, they do. That is a standard trope.
I basically don't watch much in the way of TV.
You do watch anime. It doesn't seem to hurt you as bad when it's not real people.
I do
It's
watch
animated.
anime.
I can deal with it a lot better on anime, but I watch it on anime on Netflix, Hulu, where if it does start to hit the trigger, I can bounce it forward past it.
Or just pause it, get up and walk around. That's what we do when
Take
we're watching movies at home together. Is if it hits a point, we'll pause it.
We're 30
something
minutes
else for a little while,
into
come back once you
See
start
if
to feel
see
better.
if that helps. If it doesn't, we'll just bounce past that part.
Well, now we're going to get into the socially more taboo things, but this is something that I've actually wanted to discuss for quite a while. I just kind of felt describing on my own, I wouldn't be able to actually give it the expertise that it deserves. And not a lot of this is discussed because when it comes to sex and romantic relationships and disability, that's almost seen as a non-existent thing, which is extremely unfortunate and disappointing.
Yeah, it is.
So, unless of course then you have the opposite where people try to...
You're right about that. Here's Jane. Me and my fiance, I'll be honest. Me and Val, we are very sexually active. We're still virgin. We do nude video chat because she lives in the Philippines, I live here in the US. And we send nude to each other. And we are both sexual. We both have fetishes. We both blah. She also gives me butterflies in my stomach. I give her butterflies in her stomach. Metaphorically. But people on the autism spectrum, we can be sexual too. Literally. We can be sexual. We can be kinky. Literally. Crazy.
Sexualize or fetishize disability in some way,
Excuse
shape,
me?
or form. Yeah. Part of what I wanted to discuss is that a significant percentage of autistics also identify as being LGBTQIA, gender fluid, and some are even in monogamous, polyamorous, or asexual relationships. There's actually, and you both are probably very much aware, but there is a very large sort of a Venn diagram of individuals on the spectrum who are also in
My brother friend here.
traditional, I hate to say that word, but basically pretty conventional relationships as such.
Yeah, 7 people in the house right now.
That's a good way to put it. It's innovators, yeah. I just, the thing is, I don't want to put it as like, well, there's a normal, there's not.
Sorry
because
about
there's
dog.
not. It's just that what is represented, like, this is what your respect percentage is. Yeah.
Sorry about that in the background.
Conventional to me makes the most sense because conventional is boring. It's standard. It's, well, we've always done it this way, but it's not. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just won't.
It just means that there's a more modern history of it.
Right. So
There's actually entire discussions about terminology for usage for those who are not in an alternative lifestyle among the alternative lifestyles.
really,
Because the common term that I have heard used, and I have used myself, is that people are vanilla. It's kind of as the default.
Now, me and Val talked about that when we get married, we were talking about experimenting. We then talked about doing like a little bit of nude modeling. And doing, I can't remember what it called, right? So you're telling somebody to draw you naked. We were thinking about that too. But also, me and Val were talking about when we get in bed, we were talking about experimenting with different stuff when we do it. Me and her, we talked about it. But yeah. I know her fetishes, you know my fetishes. And, we did talk about them.
but
Because vanilla is a lovely flavor all on its own, but you can also add things to it.
yeah, but you can find vanilla in pretty much everything. Oreos, ice cream, crackers. I assume crackers. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there's like vanilla wafer things.
There you go.
there's
Pringles.
but it's also seen as somewhat problematic because it's at this point in some lifestyles it is seen as a negative.
And almost a derogatory, which I personally don't like. I don't see it that way because, frankly, I like vanilla, and vanilla is also a spice.
Yeah, it has flavor. It has its own aspects. There's nothing wrong with it, but
I can see why somebody who identifies as not queer, not kinky, not outside the norm in any way might feel offended being compared to a flavor. I can see that.
I could see it, but
Me and Val, we do the dirty talk. We do act kinky to each other. I'll admit that. Yeah, even autistic people, we can be kinky too. And I do have some fetishes. I'm probably going to say mine on here. I have duck and glue fetish, bonnet fetish, art fetish. And sometimes I like relaxing in a new type of fetish. And a yoga fetish. So, yeah. I got more, but it will probably take too long to bring all of them up. But I'm going to do that on my VK account. For people who want to go there. But, yeah.
But I mean, I think the fact is, but the term vanilla can be used in other ways, describing someone's actions or what they do. But I mean, to get offended on that, I think is not as. I don't think being called vanilla is such a terrible thing. I mean, it's mildly insulting, but not as insulting as the flip side of what is used to
Describe people who aren't.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So, you both are autistic, and you're both in at least one relationship. It is correct. You both are polyamorous.
We are, yes.
We are.
So, for those who are not fully aware, how would you describe polyamory, and when did you both kind of realize that you were polyamorous?
The definition that I use, polyamory, because there isn't exactly a consensus definition. That I've heard a number of different definitions.
There are almost as many ways to be poly as there are ways to be autistic.
Wow. That's, I mean, I I kind of consider polyamory as multiple partners, but that seems too simplistic.
Well, yeah.
The definition I use is ethical, consensual, non-monogamy.
How would you then describe that ethical, consensual non-monogamy? I mean, I would say those terms kind of describe it more.
Yes.
But, yeah.
I'm happy to get into it.
Sure.
Ethical, for the ethical part, it's one, you don't harm others with it.
Cheating is straight out.
It's straight out. It's
Wheaton's Law, don't be a dick.
consensual. Everyone involved has the right to say yes or no, and can bail at any time.
It's not right to keep someone in a relationship where they are feeling forced to share your affections with another person if they themselves are not comfortable with that. You have your own right to say, I'm only comfortable in a relationship where I can be with other people, but you need to give people permission to leave if they're feeling unsafe or uncomfortable.
True.
There are poly relationships that we are aware of personally that are polymono. One person is polyamorous and one person is mono. The mono person has no interest in being with anyone else. They just want to be with who they're with.
The poly person then may have other relationships, or may be single poly at the moment, where it's, I don't have multiple partners. I'm open to that, but I don't have them at the moment.
Meanwhile, we do. We have multiple. So, yeah, we have. But we are getting married, and we've been talking about it too. We're still doing it when we get married. It's crazy. But I support her with all the stuff that she does. Like, I will support her in her college and all the stuff that she do, even her career.
And then on the non-monogamy, is that the same as saying polyamorous, or?
There's various forms of non-monogamy. There's some debate on what falls under that.
I can send you a whole chart of various forms of non-monogamy. It's absolutely huge.
Some people consider swinging as a form of non-monogamy. Others don't.
Really, it's because there's so many forms of monogamy that saying non-monogamy, you kind of need to specify which monogamy you're talking about. Because is this physical monogamy where only one couple has sex, but then you can have deep emotional attachments or social engagements with other people, as long as it doesn't cross into bedroom times? Or is this an emotional or social monogamy where I'm going to feel like you cheated if you went out to the movies with somebody else and didn't tell me about it?
And then there's activity monogamy, which is I find kind of interesting.
How dare you watch our show with another woman? That's our show. We binge together or not at all.
Yes, that falls under.
I did not know there was activity monogamy, and that I absolutely identify with that term, because I'll be watching something with my girlfriend, and it's, don't watch this show without me. I'm just sitting there like, okay, all right, I won't watch it without you.
She's highly activity monogamous.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we practice non-monogamy on pretty much all of the points. I don't think there's anything that we're super exclusive about.
Yeah.
They were on April 23rd.
There's also
couple
different
days ago.
configurations within polyamory.
There's closed triads, open
Triads. Our format follows is kind of a dispersed network. There can be interconnections between our various partners, but there doesn't need to be.
There are definitely strong platonic connections between basically all of the metamors, the people who aren't dating each other but are dating people who are dating each other. Because
her other boyfriend is my meta.
Okay.
Yeah, and they get along. They play video games together frequently. He hooked him up with a lead on a new HOTOS system.
Yeah.
I'm friends with both of his other girlfriends, I would say. I'm definitely closer to one than the other, but honestly, that's just because our personalities are a little more similar.
And I've been dating her longer.
And I've been dating her. She's been my metal longer.
Yeah.
So I've known her more. Gives me more of an opportunity to bond.
So, when did you all realize that you were polyamorous? Was it just you know?
I'm polyamorous. Same with my fiance.
A switch from your brain letting you know, or was it a progressive over time kind of feeling?
I had an abusive ex who basically forced the issue, and it turned out that basically said, "We're gonna be poly, or I'll leave you."
That would not be ethical consensual non-monogamy for those who are keeping track, because that would be neither ethical nor consensual. He didn't have much of a say, nor did he feel good about it at first.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that sounds extremely terrible and
And-
hostile.
And then she started dating a mutual friend of ours, and she kind of pulled me into starting dating her, and then it clicked, and I'm like, I finally feel fulfilled. When I was in mono relationships, there was always something.
My notification on there. Sorry about that.
I can't explain to you what it is, but just something was off.
Something deep that you felt something deep that felt like there was something that just was not there.
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Ruby?
I will admit to being a late bloomer and a bit of a slow on the uptake when it comes to relationship stuff.
We have no shame for that.
Yeah.
On the show at all. Everybody has their own speed, so on that one, perfectly fine.
I would say, okay, if I go all the way back, it would be, I'm currently in a long distance relationship that's mostly
Me and my fiance are in a long distance relationship. So, yeah. My neck a little bit cramped, but me and my fiance are in a long distance relationship. And technically I am a one-of-a-kind guy for who I am. So, kinda crazy, ain't it? But me and my fiance, we met on Autism dating website called Spectrum Single. That's how we met.
asexual at this point, but it's a very deep emotional bond. We love each other very deeply. And I met him at a convention, and we just clicked super hard. And at the time I was single. I did not remain single long. I came home from the convention, another relationship struck up, but I still felt this really deep bond with my partner who I had met at the convention, and I didn't want to give that up. But because we weren't in the same city, it just seemed easier to not try and make it a quote-unquote real relationship and keep it platonic, but honestly didn't feel like enough. And over the years that relationship has been going on, and I've been trying to have relationships here that, they weren't necessarily in direct conflict on the physical monogamy side of things, but I felt a certain amount of shame for not being emotionally monogamous with my partners in town. And so I kept searching for partners who would be okay with the fact that I had this deep connection with a person that I see maybe once or twice a year.
There's actually a term for that. Seeing a person periodically like that. They're a comet. There's someone who a deep connection that swings around and you connect with on a periodic basis.
Interesting.
And I am technically his comment, not the other way around, because I will go to seek him out, but he doesn't always have the resources to come to me, although he has recently moved to another part of the country where I might not have the resources to visit him, and I'm dealing with that because I don't want to lose the relationship, and clearly we can hold it over the internet, but I really hope that I don't go back to not seeing him as much. I really hope that we can continue having that relationship.
Okay. It feels familiar for me personally, just because I've had, especially recently, I've discussed a lot of gender fluidity, and then instead of having just two choices, you have a variety of, you can't say, well, I feel this way or this way. It's, well, there's a whole variety here, and it's beyond that, and that actually is okay. It's fine. So listening to both of you discuss this, it's like, oh wow, okay, so there's more than just either you find one person, you stay with them until you die, or you keep switching between one person, but there's barriers between those
Serial
relationships.
monogamy.
Yeah.
Which,
Or you just are a hermit your entire life.
They're the common symbol for polyamory.
Me and Val, we will be getting married to October on the 10th. October 10th with 10/10. Ironic, but yeah. And we've been together for 2 years. 2020 will make 3 years. But it's amazing. Now, I have talked to other girls, you have talked to other guys, and we know about it. Plus, I'm overprotective over her when it comes to guys, since she's overprotective over me when it comes to girls. So we want each other backs. Because we're in an open relationship with exactly almost like what they're saying. We've been doing it for 2 years now, a very long time, but crazy in a way.
Alright. Is a lamisil overlaying a heart?
So the infinity symbol, the technical term for that is lamisil. So it's a heart with a infinity wrapped around it.
Interesting. Okay.
Because love is infinite. You don't love only one of your kids.
Or one of your pets, or one of your parents.
You can love
Why should
anybody.
romantic love be any different?
You can love
It's a
everybody.
very valid point. In your relationships, for both of you, how do you build, as you said, ethical, consensual non-monogamy? How does that work when you meet someone new that you might be attracted to? How would that kind of, just kind of throwing it out there, how would that kind of roughly begin to materialize?
Well, with Ruby and one of my other relationships, it started out with friends. I have been friends with Ruby for literally a decade now. And we started, I was dating another friend at the time, and we just started kind of collided into each other. And we just were hanging out, and we're dating, aren't we?
Yeah, like
trying
8
someone
years
that
after
might
we
go
met, we started hanging out a lot because he had gone through some rough stuff that I had some experience with, abusive, unpleasant relationships. And yeah, we don't actually know the anniversary of when we started dating because we don't know exactly when it went from we both like routines and Tuesdays are open for us both, so we're just going to get together every Tuesday, have dinner, and watch some TV. And when it became, that's a date night. Because, we do both like routines. We like doing the same thing every week on the same day. That's a thing for us, is Wednesday is game night, Friday is date night.
But incorporating other people, for example, you have, both of you have girlfriends, correct?
Yes, I have 2 other
And
girlfriends.
Ruby, you have boyfriends. How do you go about that? So if you find someone and you want to date them, what's the process? I imagine you'll just start dating them without telling somebody else, or...
That would be rude, yes.
Okay.
It depends on the style of poly. For me,
Natural.
I use high levels of communication
We talk a lot.
about stuff like, hey, there's this person I'm interested in. It's not a permission thing. It's the
Letting me know.
like, hey, I might be less in touch for a while because I want to chasing down this new relationship that I'm dealing with. So
Okay, here it's saying, me and Val, we made a promise with each other that we'll stay virgins until me and her get married, or exactly when we get together in California. And me and her, we said, if I end up losing my virginity first, she can lose her with somebody else. If she loses it with somebody, I can lose it with somebody else. We talked about it, and we made that promise, and we are not break it. I'm still a virgin, she's still a virgin. We're going to stay a virgin until we meet in California. Me and her talked about it. We'll talk about doing it when we get married too. So yeah, it's very big for us in a way. It's crazy.
Instead of seeing you 4 nights this week, it'll just be 2 or 3 because I want to spend some extra time.
Building up the new relationship. For me, honestly, the hard part of relationships is there's always that moment where like, oh yeah, I'm interested in you. I want us to start dating. I should probably tell you I'm already in relationships and that's not a barrier, because you
Finding poly accepting people.
yeah, finding people who are interested in dating someone who's already dating someone else can be it's like a very high stakes game of concentration. You're flipping over cards and going, oh, yeah, nope, I just got rejected hard.
I look pretty much exclusively in the polyamorous community
To limit that rejection.
Because if I know that my potential partners are in the community already,
then it's like getting to skip the tutorial on a game you both know how to play. As I said, the first hint I had with polyamory was a long distance emotional relationship, and so I kind of got to ease into it because that wasn't a immediate or physical relationship that guys had to contend with. Like it didn't set off the competition trigger as much. So there's that moment where you gotta go, okay, yeah, it's getting close to convention time. I'm gonna be heading down to Texas. You need to be okay with the fact that I'm going to be snuggling and having deep emotional conversations with this guy. And if you're not, we should probably cool it now so that neither of us feels hurt.
Considering that almost universally your exes had more issues with our friendship than
that one. Yeah.
So, but there's a
People
lot,
are weird.
So a lot of communication involved. That's
It's a ridiculous amount of communication.
Oh yeah.
direct.
Yeah, we talk a lot. We message each other constantly. Actually, okay, I have a funny story about how I got my latest boy.
Now me and Vel, we met her a lot, and when she not messaging me, I start getting a little freaked out because she do get sick a lot. And when I'm feeling sick or not online, and if she start getting nervous about me, she start messaging me a lot. We care about each other, and we love each other.
Boyfriend. We were both at an event together. He noticed that I was wearing a necklace that was the heart with the infinity wrapped around it. And he was like, hey, that's a nice necklace. I'm looking at him, I'm going, you're saying that very specifically. Are you trying to ask me if I know what it means? And we had this little, like, dropping hairpins kind of.
So you both are feeling each other out.
Yeah, it was like two gay people at a party in like the 1970s where you gotta like drop all of the hints to figure out if this person you're talking to is also gay. And then after that, and we had a really good time at this event together. There was a follow-up event, and he was flirting with me. I knew he knew I was poly already. I knew he was okay with it. And I'm like, okay, I can flirt back. This is great. Spent the entire night with him. He bought me pizza. Fastest way to my heart is through my stomach, or like the 4th and 5th rib. It depends on what you're going for. And then at the end of the night, Blood Fox showed up to pick me up, and at his then new acquaintance said, "Hey, can I pull you aside?" And like really nervously looking. This is a podcast, so I know you guys can't see him, but he can look kind of intimidating when he decides to be all quiet and tall. And I let myself be pulled aside. He's like, "Would it be okay if I asked you out?" And I'm like, "I believe so. Give me one second." Turn, look, he's shooting me thumbs up. I'm like, yes, I would love to. Not because of its permission, but because I wanted to make sure that he wasn't feeling betrayed or abandoned or left out.
Right, it was consensual, not about permission, but consensual.
Yeah, not about permission, about consent.
Right.
That's true.
And, he's got a ridiculous amount of compersion. He doesn't really do the feeling negative when seeing me happy. He only does feeling positive when seeing me happy, and it doesn't really matter how I'm getting the happiness.
I'm pathologically compassionate.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem. I really want him to be able to hate people who've hurt him.
Actually, we should probably explain that term.
Yes. Definition of compersionate. Compersion is the opposite of jealousy. It's when you see someone that you care about being happy and it causes a feel of joy inside you.
Is it, do you have any struggles with this? I mean, since you're all communicating a lot, I imagine.
When Val or any of my friends are happy, it makes me happy. Or when Val happy, or friends that I care about are happy, it makes me happy.
Like most relationships, there have been some bumps in the road, as they would say, or some issues.
Actually, for us, it's been very minimal. We got through a lot of that during the friendship phase.
Although also, I would say this is one of those weird places where I think the autism...
Same with me and Val. For a couple of months. And then, right after my 19th birthday, a couple weeks after that, something happened, and Val literally came in and helped me. You forgive me, I'm not seeing it online, but she helped me with this, and we reported the person, never seen them again, but the person was a bad person, and, okay, I'll say it, the person who my fiance helped report and helped stop doing this to me was a blackmailer. Yes, I've been blackmailed before, and my fiance came in and helped me. She forgave me and understand. We both understand each other. So yeah, but it's crazy. Like, she's a very understanding person, and I love her for that. I really do. I really love Val for how she is. She is an amazing person. I really have to say, she is. And she helps. She don't like blackmailers. I don't like them either. And me and her, we both reported the person. Their account got taken down. They ended up getting investigated and found out that they were somewhere in Europe. They got Interpol and got involved in getting it. But we did not have to be involved with that game, but we took down a blackmailer who done it to multiple people. So me and her, we stopped the person and found out on a newspaper, or not a newspaper, but on an article online later that about 2 weeks afterwards, or because we did it anonymous, because you cannot do it by Facebook anonymously, like report somebody who would actually trying to blackmail anonymously, and exactly when me and her did that, the person got caught, and they did not say her name, and I already knew person, and they showed a fake face that was used to trick people into the video chat, and that's how they caught them. So yeah, it's crazy, but they technically caught person because of me and my fiance, and I did not find out until a couple weeks later. But that was over 2 years ago. It's been a long time now. It's like almost 2 years, but yeah.
So it makes it easier for us to have a relationship because both of us know where the...
My parents don't know it ever happened. But yeah, now my girlfriend BFF's also with all yell everything with he a fellow YouTuber too, and a friend of mine too. He know it. And he a good hearted person too. Yeah, it was very funny, I'll admit that. You get me giggling. And did something that did scare me a few days ago. There was an earthquake in the Philippines that happened this week. Where I was doing a video chat with my fiance and her BFF, Joshua, and he gay. So yeah, and it happened on video chat. I did not realize it was an earthquake until afterward, until she posted about it earlier, and I started freaking out. wondering if she was okay and all that. So I was shocked. But yeah, she okay. Just a little scared. Now, I have been through one small earthquake, and that was back in 2011, back when I was in middle school. That fell from Maine all the way down here to South Carolina, if you guys can remember that. Surprisingly, nobody got killed and there was no major damage. Maybe minor damage, it was a miracle, but that crazy. But it's been a long time since that happened now. Almost a decade. 2 more years will make 10 years since it happened. That's crazy. That's crazy, so yeah.
The barriers to communication in our neurology are. So I know that if I want him to know something or do something, I can't hit. I need to whack him upside the head with a clue by 4. It's not going to work with if I'm anything less than blunt. And he knows that if I'm being blunt, it's not because I'm unhappy or angry or dissatisfied. It's because I want him to know the thing. And I don't think that I would be able to feel as good as I do about being as blunt as I am with him if I weren't on the spectrum.
When I ran into my newest girlfriend,
Which was another old friendship that got restruck into romance.
yeah, like Ruby, I'm crushing hard.
At which point I go, oh, who's the lucky lady?
This just seems very, very much communicative and something that is.
It does not work without communication.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I know the advice for all relationships is to communicate more, but this relationship would die
But you
without
guys have
communication.
outlined how you communicate. Just saying communicate is like telling, well, myself or someone else, like,
Second.
well, just clean up. Well, what do you mean by clean up? Do you mean
Probably another 10
the whole
minutes
thing?
and
Do you mean everything from top to bottom? What's the level here? So
now,
Communicate about
part 2 probably not out
like,
yet.
there's a specific blunt communication of directness.
If it is,
that
then
not
we'll go
anti
on
or
to it and
subtle.
talk about it.
Blunt communication frequently. I always message him
But,
in
yeah.
the morning when I wake up and at night when I go to bed. And this is our chance to touch base about what's happening in our lives, talk about our plans for the day, talk about things that may have happened over the day. So even if we don't see each other, we have this moment to come together and know what's happening. And if nothing is new, it's just, good night, I'm tired, I'm going to
crazy.
bed. And then he'll say, good night, sleep well, my Ruby, and, that's it. But if I'm going to be going to bed and I'm thinking, I was looking at this guy the other day and, man, I'm really interested. I mean, this is not frequently where my head's at, but if it were, that would be a thing I could tell him then. I'd be like, so, by the way, today, I was at the university and, I was waiting for this thing and met this guy and we struck up this conversation and, yeah, it was kind of a thing.
Last week, you were telling me about a girl who's flirting with you in line at Ulta, I think.
Yeah, I shut down hard about that because I am a completely useless person when it comes to attraction to other women. I'm not a lesbian, but I'm a useless lesbian. Like, I'm so bad with my attraction to women.
I'm confused by the useless
I'm
lesbian
bisexual.
because that to me, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because here's I've never known anybody. I've never known a lesbian who's
bisexual,
actually useless. I'll put it that
That's
way.
fair. It's
It's
kind of
crazy.
an internet meme, which is where I got it from jokes about not being able to tell when women are actually flirting with you or if they just like, or if they're just being friendly.
But
Not being able to tell whether or not you like a woman or if you do you want to date her or do you want to be her is the common question.
yeah, did video over an
for,
hour
for
long.
women who are attracted to women and aren't figuring out their sexuality effectively. That's a more common problem than I think a lot of people realize because women who like women are frequently told that their attraction to women is predatory or bad.
Really predatory.
Yeah.
Because I've heard bad, but I've never heard predatory before.
I have been compared to that particular breed of guy who won't take no for an answer.
That seems very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been told that attraction to other women is going to make me the same as straight men.
And in the way that they don't take no for an answer.
In the way that there's a lack of concern for the feelings of the woman.
I mean, that seems to be kind of a stretch because you both talk about consent and.
It's completely inaccurate.
Right.
But I've been told that.
I've not ever.
What? 1 minute, guys. Huh? Yeah, mama? Chicken and seasoned chicken. Okay. Okay, guys, I am back.
I've never seen you try to physically force yourself on anyone.
No, I would never.
Right.
Like, I feel very strongly about consent, but there's that fear that if I flirt or if I aggress sexually, you know, even not aggress as in cause harm or menace, but aggress as in be the one who acts first. If I'm the one who takes the role of the man, quote unquote, in the traditional schema of things, if I ask somebody out, if I hold the door, if I pay for dinner, if I buy flowers, I'm taking a role that is, quote unquote, like this is a direct quote from someone, traditionally masculine and therefore no better than a man. This was from the kind of feminist that gives feminists a bad name, by the way, so there's some context there.
Oh, so like TERFs,
Yes.
trans-revolutionary
Yes.
radical feminists, okay.
Yes, I was basically told by this person that I know hates men, that attempting to act first in a woman-to-woman relationship made me like a man.
But
How is a relationship between women supposed to work in that case then?
I really don't know. I assume that like we're supposed to be set up by some sort of male yenta, because like women obviously can't ask anyone out, so a man has to ask us out. But if we're hooking up with each other, I'm assuming that like a male yenta comes in and hooks us up and then pays for our meal and opens the doors for us.
yeah, they're the ones wearing the fedoras and saying "miladies."
Oh God, no.
Figured out it kind of funny.
They're really being aggressive because they're saying, "Look, I'm actually communicating what this person wants. I just can't tell you until it's all together." They've been completely misjudged. This
Wow, that would be a twist worthy of M. Night Shyamalan.
you should write something about this, some sort of short story.
Yeah.
That
Actually,
would
the
be
whole
funny.
time, the reason why they're so upset and angry is because everybody's completely misconstruing what they're doing.
Yeah, I have a friend whose 4 or 5-year-old son, I don't remember how old he was when he said this, came home from some event where this concept of guys pay for dinner and open doors for women, and that's what makes it romantic. And said, I think I figured out how you do. A relationship that's properly romantic with two women. What you do is you get the two women together, and then they go and find a guy, and they ask the nearest guy to pay for their dinner to make it properly romantic.
Oh,
Crowdsourced lesbianism. Like,
Wow.
from the minds of 4-year-olds, man.
yes.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
4-year-old.
Unfortunately, thanks to a toxic culture about sexuality and gender, it leads to a lot of nervousness when you step outside your prescribed role.
I can imagine that. Speaking of sex, I wanted to start talking more about sexuality. So I haven't done an episode about sex yet. I may delve deeper into that sort of thing, but for now, I kind of want to focus with both of you with your relationships and kind of delve into that a little bit. So I plan to cover more concentrated, getting deep into autism, sex in later episodes, but that's more of just a conversation like medical and physiological, that sort of thing. Because one of the things I've heard is that autistics can't have sex. In addition,
We can.
in addition to not speaking and rocking, you also can't have sex. So, which
I've been doing autism completely wrong.
yeah, wait, you didn't get the memo?
Yeah, no, I was gone for that meeting of the National, Autistics Board.
It's on the card. You get the card. It should be on the card on the back.
Oh, in the small print. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I need
yeah.
reading glasses.
Well, there you go. So, hey, it's Leo Jones. This interview took way longer than anticipated, which means it has been split into 2 parts. Don't worry, though. Part 2 of Autism, Sex, and Relationships should be released either at the same time or shortly after this episode is posted. There's a lot to look forward to as we discuss how autism affects one's sex life, what BDSM is and what it isn't, and much more. As always, thank you for listening. I'm Leo Jones, and this has been Neurologic.
Now let's go to part 2. We need to check for part 2 real quick. I'm going to part 2 to see, or check. I'm going to look for part 2 real quick because it's something that we should be talking about. Most people don't realize that. So, but yeah, it's crazy. It's something that we need to be talking about. Walking away. It's crazy, but we need to be talking about it. I need to look for part 2 real quick. If I can find part 2 right now, then I'll do it in probably next week video. But it's something that people don't think about when it comes to us. It's crazy. Me and Val are into BDSM too, I'll be honest. But we're into it. But yeah. Episode. Gotta look for, episode 18. Like, it might sound crazy, but, or technically part 2, episode 18. But, yeah.
Affects one's sex life. What? Creative Commons Act. Links are licensed. createcommons.org/licenses/licenses/buys/310. You can reach Leo Jones and Neurologic by email at neurologicpodcast@gmail.com.
I find it amazing. Like, I really do. I'm still looking for part 2. But yeah. It's crazy if you just think about it. It was only about 4 days ago that it came out. I need to find part 2 of it. It's something that got me hyped, if you guys don't know. Like, it's crazy. But yeah. Everybody on the spectrum is different from one to another. Like, nobody is the same. Sexuality, gender, all of it. You can think, you might not even know. Like, something just to think about. Most people don't realize that. Like, literally. Now, I still gotta find part 2. It's crazy. But it's a crazy thing. Episode 18, Part 2. There we go. I gotta look for Episode 18, Part 2 for it. Because I have found Part 2 of Episode 18 and not out yet. Probably explain the reason why I can't find it. But yeah, probably still working out in a way, but it's crazy. But it's a crazy thing if you think about it. Excuse me. This something I talked about before, but I did go into more depth than I ever thought I would. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, just think about it. Everybody different. Now, if I find episode 2, I'll probably bring it in that week live stream. yeah, but it'll probably be that week live stream that when I find it, I'll bring it in that week one. But everybody is different. Like what they said, it all crazy. But yeah. But that was part one of part of it. And let me check if I'm able to go online and watch up because it's a little bit hard trying to find part two if you guys did think about it. But yeah. It may be crazy, but if I'm able to, that'd be amazing. Because I still need to find. It's crazy to think about it. Like, what are we? Now, I am trying to find the other part still, but it'll probably take a while, if you guys know what I mean. But yeah. But that went into more depth on stuff that I haven't been talking about. Did think about it. But yeah. And me and my fiance, we are interested in BDSM. We do talk about it. So yeah, autistic people can think about that stuff too. I brought it up before. But yeah, it's crazy. And everybody is different on the spectrum. Even me and my fiance. Like, it's unique, but everybody is different from one another. But yeah. Now, thing that I am going to be doing tomorrow, I'll be going to train show tomorrow, what I said earlier at the beginning of the video. But I'll be going to train show tomorrow. And I'll probably be recording on video, and when I'm there, I'm probably going to get some stuff too, in a way, if you did think about it. So, I'm probably going to see if I'm able to buy some more in-scale model train stuff to add, for I could plan a way out. The type of train layout I'm planning to do is a switching layout. Like a little branch line, short line layout. Well, for in-scale, the in-scale I like the most. I do have HO, but I'm more interested in in-scale. And I'm thinking about doing some type of work to make it like mobile, and if I can do multiple stuff to help it, but yeah, that'll probably be in the plan, but we'll see down the line. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the information and the stuff that I've been talking about, and enjoyed me getting my voice out there. I hope you guys really do enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope that everything will run well, and I hope you guys keep on moving on, keep on being motivated too, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I really do, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye guys.